In 1907, the Philippine Assembly was established. The Filipinization policy of the government was put in place where the Filipinos were given a hand in running the country. In 1916, the Jones Law, also known as the Philippine Autonomy Act, was passed by the U.S. Congress. On the 16th of October 1916, the new Philippine legislature was inaugurated with Sergio Osmeña as the House Speaker and Manuel L. Quezon as the Senate President. The approval of the Tidings-McDuffie Law, or the Philippine Independence Act, by the U.S. Congress happened in March 24, 1934. The Declaration of the Philippine Independence. The Commonwealth shall be known as the Republic of the Philippines. In July 10, 1934, election was held to vote for the delegates to write a constitution for the Philippines. In March 23, 1935, the 1935 Constitution was approved by the U.S. President Franklin Roosevelt. The 1935 Constitution was ratified by the Filipino people through a national plebiscite on May 14, 1935, and came into full force and effect on November 15, 1935, with the inauguration of the Commonwealth of the Philippines. The 1935 Constitution was led by Manuel L. Quezon, the President of the Philippines that time. He enumerated the composition, powers, and duties of the three branches, which are executive, legislative, and judiciary. He is known as the father of national language. He is one of the champions of developing a national language, instrumental in the introduction into 1935 Constitution of the provision that Congress shall take steps towards the development and adoption of a common national language based on one of the existing native language. He was dismayed and realized in the fact that Filipinos from different regions, provinces, and localities had to speak in a foreign language, like English or Spanish, to understand each other. So, he established the Institute of National Language that recommended Tagalog as basis for national language.
Executive branch. Executive power is vested in the President of the Philippines. The President leads the country. He or she is the head of state, leader of the national government, and commander-in-chief of all armed forces of the Philippines. Also, he or she has control of all the executive departments, bureaus or offices, exercise general provisions over all local governments. It has 4-year terms. President hold his or her office during a term of 4 years, together with the Vice President who were elected by the direct vote of people. By the way, it is 4 years here because at this time, the amendment was changed the term limit of President from 6 years with no re-election to 4 years with a possibility of being re-elected for a second term. Highest number of votes. The person who has the highest number of votes for the position of the President and the Vice President is declared elected. Legislative branch. The legislative power is vested in a Congress of the Philippines, which consists of a Senate and House of Representatives. They are authorized to make, alter, and repeal laws. So, the members of legislative branch are authorized to make, alter, and repeal laws. The legislature was changed from a unicameral assembly to a bicameral Congress. Unicameral assembly means that practice of having single legislature. On the other hand, bicameral Congress has legislators in two separate assemblies, which are House of Representatives and the Senate. Senate. It is composed of 24 senators who are chosen at large by the qualified electors of the Philippines. The term of senator is 6 years. It must be natural-born citizen of the Philippines and at least 35 years old. House of Representatives. It is composed of not more than 120 members, who shall be apportioned among the several provinces as nearly as may be accorded to the number of their respective inhabitants, but each province has only one member. Judiciary Branch. The judicial power is vested in one Supreme Court and in such inferior courts as may be established by law. It is composed of a Chief Justice and 10 Associate Justices. Members of the Supreme Court and all judges of inferior courts are appointed by the President with the consent of the Commission on Appointments. The members should be a citizen of the Philippines for 5 years, at least 40 years old, has been a judge of a court, or engaged in the practice of law in the Philippines.